Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for much for being like very patient as well and
Oh
trying
man,
all this.
thank you. The patience is on your end, man. I was messing up. I'm sorry. I'm good at fighting, not so much with the tech, I guess.
No way, no way. Okay, so let me start with the intro. Like I was waiting like until we get on this. So hello
All
again,
right.
like to like MMA believers. So today we are joined by a former Bellator cage fighter and a current UFC fighter who will be fighting Mickey Gall this July 24. He is a true example of heart and determination. He is Jordan Bomaye Williams.
Let's
One of the
go. How you
so
doing, my friend?
yeah. So first, tell me like, how did you get your name, this Bomaye, or just did you just keep it yourself, or somebody gave it to you?
The fight name is courtesy of my stepdad. He had this great movie when we were kings, and he was highly influenced by Boumaye or Ali,
Mm.
Muhammad Ali, and they said Ali Boombaye. And so when he fought George Foreman in the Rumble in the Jungle, he kind of went to Africa early. He's a light skin, so most of the Africans were cheering for, or were naturally wanting to go for George Foreman, more of a someone they knew. And so, but Ali went to the country early. He became one with the people, and he became working out around the town. And by the time the fight happened, the whole crowd arena was saying Ali Bumbaye, which means kill him in Swahili. So the fact that he was able to get the people on his side and and it's just a badass meaning. I agreed with my stepdad when he came up with the idea.
Yeah, it's very nice. That name is, although like you're almost like something of a monster or something like that. You just eat so many punches, you come forward, man.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta get them.
Yeah, whenever I see your fights, I'm like, how this man is doing it, man. You eat a flying knee and just come forward. That's
Yeah, man. It's just just don't not just just trusting. I think I have an innate. It's like instinctual for me to just trust and believe in myself and go in there and every fighter does have that worry before you go in, but it's funny by the time I start going, I just go forward and like see that's what me and my coaches are. We're working more on more angles and more of a game plan for Mickey Gall, but yeah, like we're gonna mix it up. We'll just the usual Terminator
yeah,
style that everyone has seen me. Even because everyone knows I could be Terminator, but like let's be smart now.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like for a while, your opponents must be scared, man. Just they're coming with every.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's a fear. I mean, because they get confident when you land something, but then like if you keep landing, and it just doesn't go your way. Like, yeah, it's gotta be fearful for that extent. But we're gonna try to keep the opinion out of the judges out of this one. So
Yeah, yeah, man. Like you hit your best shot and you think it's hurt and it's coming and that's scary.
right,
Very scary.
right. Well, yeah. If there's any way to scare someone while getting punched, I guess that's how you do it, right?
And it's almost like a monster in a movie. You hit and he's still coming forward. And
Yeah, man. You got to find that silver bullet to take me out, man. I'm coming for blood.
has it ever happened to you? The same thing?
I mean, I would say like not my last fight. I hit him with a couple shots, and I felt him get stung, but I didn't like based on his cardio. I didn't really get to touch him as much as I thought. If like my last fight, so if I was able to get to that point where I was touching him as much as he was touching me and he wasn't going down, I would definitely be concerned. But I've been known to have some one punch knockout power, and if it doesn't come in one, it'll come in a few. So like I don't think my power has been tested yet. I think last fight my intelligence and my awareness and my cardio was tested, but all those tick marks are now covered, and so we'll see. We'll see if someone is able to get me scared of their chin.
Yeah, man. Because the last fight, I thought that if you had landed more shots, just you missed many, like not many, like 8 to 10 more shots than Imavov. I thought
Mm-hmm.
if I think you would have won that. That's what I thought. You know.
Yeah, yeah, man. Thank you. Like that fight, I came in not to be know. Like I came into that fight, I I couldn't run at all. I broke my knee that June. I actually had to pull out of my first contender series fight against Jordan Wright because I broke my knee. We had to push everything back, and then so I was not able to wrestle. I wasn't able to do jujitsu. That was out of the question. No, no kickboxing. My knee broke during kickboxing, so we're like, no kickboxing. The only cardio I had to do for that, I got to do for that last fight was boxing and shadow boxing, basically. That was
Wow.
and mitt work with my boxing coach. That's all I had was able to do, and sparring. But we just spar boxing, so I was very limited in my last fight, as opposed to not only my cardio, but as the mental map that has been laid out before every fight. You want to be practicing jujitsu in case you get into jujitsu. Your mind, because not only practicing, it just makes you better at it. It just lays out a neurological pathway for you to actually do it in the fight. And if you don't train it, you won't do it. So I didn't train anything but boxing, and that's the only thing I got to do that fight. And so my cardio is going to be up. I'm actually able to run. I have top of the line a strength and conditioning coach and land out performance, the same as the Denver Broncos. So I feel, and a new head coach under direction under Mark Montoya, and just a solid team with solid bodies here. That it's no one has seen this level of Jordan Williams yet. That's about to emerge in this next fight.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like now you told like you just did boxing for cardio and boxing, shadow boxing, and now I'm thinking like the level must be very high because uh, the last time you couldn't train kickboxing, you couldn't train jiu-jitsu, you couldn't train wrestling, and now when you can do that, all of this, that
Mhm.
must be next level of shit.
Yeah, it's like a mental. It's a heavier burden on the body. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
being able to train all the things, but like the heavier you go on the body, everyone knows the lighter the weight feels on your mind. And yeah, it's just like I'm just so confident. I'm so ready. I'm so eager. Just to be able to do all those things now. And I was at 185 last fight. So every time I shot in for a takedown, it wasn't to take him down. It was a situationally maybe get an advantage on the judges' scorecard, like to hold him there. Maybe
mm,
use that to get him the fake for a takedown later down in the road. I usually never went for takedowns again. I mean, could you? I mean, when me going against Gregory Rodriguez, he's like, look at the size. He was like 220 when he stepped into the ring, and he's an 8-time national jiu-jitsu champion. Like, no, I ain't gonna try to waste the honor space to try to wrestle that guy. Like, but now 170s, bring it. Like these are people that are more my size, and it's just I'm like my mental game plan as a lighter body in a heavier weight class was never to wrestle. So just my game plan has unfolded the possibilities.
okay, okay. Because like in Imavov, that the last fight, I thought like you were the more of a like fighter, the warrior, the tougher one, just
Mm-hmm.
that because of those things, because you couldn't do all those other training, you know, that's what happened. But now talking about this, Mickey Gall, I now after hearing this that you are training everything, I think you have a better chance against him. Like I thought
Mm-hmm.
you were Mickey Gall and you, but now I'm after hearing this, like I think you have like better chance of beating him. So like what are the strengths that you're backing up this time for fighting Mickey?
You know, yeah. Like first off, I agree with you. And second off, I'm better everywhere than him, and like so. I've been watching his last fights against Mike Perry. He's like a cookie cutter boxer. Like, he's good. I mean, he's like, when he throws this punch, his jab or his cross, like his other hand's up. But that's like just like pretty boy shadow boxing right there. Like when you're in a dogfight, you gotta make those punches land. You gotta be aggressive. You gotta know how to make those punches land. You gotta get ugly and stay pretty at times. And you got to make the punch land. It's not going to be the most prettiest punch that knocks the guy out. If it is, then you know that's one of the many ways of look at knockouts. Like you see people just get clipped on the chin on a wild punch and they go out. So it's like sometimes you gotta get wild and stay composed, like a calculated measurement to make things work. And I just don't think he's there yet. I think he's still he wants to get better at striking to show everyone he's not the jiu-jitsu guy. Because whenever someone says his name, they just say, "Oh, it's Mickey Gall Jiu-Jitsu." So that's why I feel like he's trying to get better with his striking. But it's just not there yet. He'll learn this fight.
I think like if you defeat Mickey Gall, I think it'll be like another huge stepping stone for you because he's got some popularity after beating that after having that CM Punk fight. He was very smart. I think if you can be if you beat him, then it'll be much more greater in terms of popularity.
Oh yeah, I that's the goal, right? Like you don't want to fight nobodies because that's what they're gonna value as. Mickey Gall, I respect him as a fighter. I think he debuted. I don't know if he made his first fight ever. What it was like? Oh, I think it was on Dana White's Looking for a Fight. I think that's when he made his debut on stuff. So he's been on top like ever since he's got into the scene. The shows that he has done has either been UFC or sponsored by Dana White. So I respect his caliber and his experience for sure. Like it'll definitely be a great name to have under my belt.
Yeah, yeah. So like whenever you go for a stare down, right, before the
Mm-hmm.
weigh-ins, like what are the things that like you really observe? Like every fighter has different things to observe when they are in a stare down. What do you go, or is it just a formality for you, the stare down?
Uh, there's a lot in that question. I mean, formality, I keep it like, yeah. You gotta. When I look at my opponent's eyes, it's mainly to see where their head's at. You know,
Mm.
and to let them know where mine's at. I let you know that I'm looking at you and I'm assessing you, and you're not going to be out of my vision. You know, some people like when they break eye contact. Like I don't know if he broke eye contact with me, but I didn't think that he wasn't ready. I just felt like he broke eye contact. He's like, and he was like he was talking shit. We were mouthing shit to each other before that fight. So I wasn't gonna let him out of my sight. But the fact that um he was there mentally to like he was like winking at me. I was like, oh yeah, you winking at me. I knew he. And then when he broke eye contact, I knew eye contact wasn't his game. But it's part of my game, and I'm just assessing. It helps me remind myself of the aggression that I have right now. When I'm doing a stare down. So there's a lot. And to answer that formal question, it is formal. Like, and the crowd, I'm there to entertain, and I'm there to show my true intentions, and the crowd likes to see that. And but also they also like homeboy was winking and blowing kisses and doing his own game plan. So like I think everyone's stare down. I mean, if you're an entertainer at this level, it should be formal. You should be doing something. you know, don't
No,
don't
like
look like you're about to shit your pants now. Come on.
no, like I think you just need to be yourself. Just the way you do it is
Exactly. Hmm.
that's what
Exactly.
gravitates like towards you or anyone. The true personality.
Hmm.
That's the
Yeah.
um That's very awesome, man. So like you get your style of fighting is like very um what do you call very chaotic. You get hit a lot, man. Just like same like Gaethje, you know. So like
Mhm.
how difficult it is after getting a cut in a fight to like carry on.
Um,
You feel
it's
like
I mean, oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. Yeah, it's definitely you have to be aware. You have to be aware of the judges. They're looking at you, even if they know from round one that it was from an illegal headbutt. By
yeah,
round three, that's your blood you're wearing. So that could like throw throw some mental weight subconsciously on the scorecards. Also, shit hurts, man. Like that was the first time. It didn't look like I was rocked. But that was the first time I'd ever been rocked. Basically in a fight, that knockout fight where I got knocked out. I I went into that fight. I had a popped blood vessel. So I mean, I did get concussed after that fight. But speaking to many professionals down the road, that's not one I should have taken. I had black eyes the day before weigh-ins, and it just cleared up. So that fight against Ivanov, that was the first time I've been stunned in a fight and been awake throughout the rest of the fight. To that like to that degree, it hurt. It shit hurt. Yeah. So like it was like tender, but it goes away. Like you're not feeling the light, but like sometimes like you'll get hit again with it in that same spot, and you're like, oh shit! Like I gotta keep aware of this. I gotta keep aware of my positioning, and it's just kind of like it's like chess. It's like chess. Like you just know you. It looks like you're losing a lot more now because of that cut, and you know you could use it, I guess, in jujitsu, but it's just like situational more than anything.
yeah, because like the blood keeps running and the oxygen gets cutting off. So that's what I thought, man. It must be
Hmm.
like tough, really great. I feel like to really get carry on, and after that illegal headbutt. So
Thank you, man. Yeah, yeah, man.
some
Yeah,
illegal.
it's fucking illegal, man. Hey, it's part of the game. The ref. I believe. I mean, I don't want to talk shit about any refs, but then the second headbutt, he didn't even see. But I have a even Imavov, like he saw it, and he was just like, hey, like he stopped, and the ref's like, keep going, and we're like, all right, like so, like even I do give props for him for knowing what that he did the second time. The second time it did uh crack on all of them, but that's how I knew something was happening. I was like, "Yo, what the fuck? Like, what just happened?" I thought it was actually, and I was so like out of or not out of. I was so um not knowing what like if the pain was coming from an eye poke or a headbutt. I was like, "Dude, this fucker eye poked me," and they're like, "No, he headbutted you." I was like, "Oh, okay, that was a headbutt." So yeah, I'm not gonna talk shit about the ref, but I'm like, come on, man, come on, kid, come on, kid.
Okay. So coming back, like coming to the eye pokes, So like, do you think like there should be a new glove design for MMA because eye pokes are like very very dangerous, right?
Hmm. Um, Let me tell if they can. If I mean, I'm not opposed if they can create one where you can keep the dexterity and keep the full motion of your hands. Now, do I think they're there yet? No, I don't think they have the technology. I haven't seen one yet. A good glove to successfully cover the fingers, but also make you have full use of them um for like submissions. And also, a lot of refs don't see the glove grab. And if you're giving a lot of more glove to grab, um, then if that's going to be hard on that end too. And then my third point on this whole topic is like I've never eye poked anyone in a professional setting in a fight.
Okay,
You
so
know
if they,
what the fuck is this amateur hour? Keep your fucking hands closed. What? I don't. To me, it's just in practice time. I get it. I've done it. I've practiced. Like, oh shoot, but like in a fight, like I'm more there than I am in practice of the rules of everything. So I mean, if you want to give more room for people just to be crazy and make think, because what if you get these new gloves and now people not like honestly that's still material that's scratching your eyeball, like whether it's a finger or a glove, that there's still solid material underneath it, and it's still gonna hurt, it's still gonna impair you, like, and then now since we have these gloves they're gonna be like, well, he got eye poked with a glove, he should be fine, keep going, like so I don't really see gloves being a good, like with those fingertips being beneficial for the fighter, because it's just because for the fighter who actually does get eye poked, they're going to be forced now to continue with impaired vision and maybe lose that fight and get knocked out, so
yeah,
and if the person who's getting knocked out is the person they're trying to save. So I don't know, I'm mixed about that.
yeah, yeah. So like it's not that hard to keep your like not to eye pop in a fight, right?
Right, I mean, exactly. I've never groined shot. I've had 15 pro fights. I've never hit anyone in the groin in a pro fight. I've never kneed someone on illegally on the ground. I almost did. I pulled it back. I was just like, don't you don't have to have crazies in there to have a good fight. You can have professionals in there, and it'll be entertaining.
Yes. So like coming to the ranks of like professional fighting, from amateur fights, how what a difference that you feel from amateur fights to professional fights now?
So the difference, there's just an intensity when you're amateur and now to UFC. You kind of like tell yourself when you're younger in your career that, hey, I want to be. This is what I want to do. This is, and I'm gonna do this. And you kind of lying to yourself until a point to it actually comes true. And like so the intensity is always there, but like then you get to the level where like, oh shit, I actually have a chance to do what I said I wanted to do this. So the intensity just automatically magnifies for someone like me. It like in the situation, just the where the mental whereabouts about knowing that, hey, this is my job. This is what I get paid to do is kick ass. So the intent and also part of my job is to get my ass whooped. Now
Yeah.
that goes deeper into my job and to making sure that doesn't happen. But the situation that I'm put in, like that, like you either the entertainer or the entertainment, and at the higher levels, you realize that real quick after a couple of replays on ESPN.
So like uh you like you started uh like from wrestling, right? From
Mm-hmm.
wrestling to then the MMA. So what difference do you like observe from the your this American style wrestling and the Dagestani style wrestling?
Um.
Saying that
Well, I would say that the Dagestani wrestling, from what I've experienced, it's like um Khabib has more of like that actual double leg takedown, put you down, right? But where I find the threats from the more Asian and European countries that wrestle are any other one. Oh, and Africa, the African like Senegal has great wrestling. They're really known for the wrestling. The it's in Nigeria, but it's they do more manipulative with the upper half. And with
Mhm.
folk style American wrestling, it's more like how Khabib does it. But Khabib he's like the only one. Him and they're the only ones that really drastically go for those big takedowns because in freestyle wrestling, they're more about throws. Usually, from my experience, more about throws. The second your back is exposed to the mat, that's 2 points. So like a lot of Greco like style wrestling where they keep their top half and they're doing a lot of tilts and turns and trips. As opposed to the wrestling that I learned, we learned tilts and turns and twists, but mainly we want that high crotch and that fireman's carry and double legs and a lot of takedowns where as kids we were taught to have our knees touch the ground and like kind of like touch the ground and scoot back up. But as a wrestler in MMA world, you don't want to ever let your knees really touch the ground. You got like you don't ever want to a slow down that motion, and b you're putting yourself in levels you can get the fuck meat out of you. Like you can get knocked out from a knee. So
Yeah.
you like I think that the way they grew up wrestling, how they're taught, just based off the rules, helps them translate better
I don't know.
into MMA. But there are a lot of. But I did also learn freestyle out here in the States. We have great freestyle here as well. So I think it's just a matter of what type of wrestling that you learned growing up and what are you able to like forget.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So like one guy in the comments says like, hey, is that Littlefoot Silva? So that,
Hey, I'm a lot prettier than a little foot silver. All right, look how beautiful I am.
oh god, never. So like sometimes I'm really worried about the style of fighting you bring. It's just I think it's like way too violent for some time. Just worrying about worrying about your health. Like maybe you can keep it safe for a while, or
Yeah.
or you.
Yeah, like my fight style is dangerous, but it's risky. But with no risk comes no reward, baby. Come on now. It's like and our coaches we're not words of my new head coach and my new general is like we don't just come in there to win. Like we go in there to finish, you
Yeah,
know. That's the type of mindset. A warrior, you know, the safest way to win a fight is usually to have that mentality. Is like I'm gonna take you out before you do any damage to me. That's if you think about it, that's a pretty safe way if it goes your route. Is as opposed to say I'm gonna stay back on the fence. I'm gonna pick my shots, and I'm just gonna win. I'm just gonna systematically win and stay and stay out of danger, just a little, just stay out of danger. But I'm gonna let the danger stay there. I'm not gonna be so urgent as to get the threat out of the picture. Sometimes getting the threat out of the picture is the safest way to no damage.
yeah, cool. So like you into like sports like MMA betting also sports betting.
Oh yeah, I mean I've taken a little break from it, and especially I haven't actually found myself. I didn't make one bet during this training camp, um, but I do enjoy some wagers every now and then.
Okay, cool. Uh, like the fight that is coming, Dustin Poirier versus McGregor. So who you got on this one?
Oh man, I was wrong. I was wrong on it last time because I didn't. I wanted Dusty to win, but I thought Connor had his number already picked up. But honestly, I wasn't sure on where Dustin was mentally to believe himself. And man, was I so happy he shut me up. Like so, I'm gonna go off a piggyback bandwagon off off my boy Dusty Poirier. Like I've always loved Dusty. Back in the day when he was on, like watched this documentary back with him when he started back in Louisiana, or I've always been a fan of Dusty. So I'm just gonna like not lose faith in him this time and stick to my guns and say Dusty's got it. You know.
So like coming back to you, how difficult it is to like train with your illness. Of course, it inspires a lot of people, like me, and
Hmm.
whenever we see the story, but like how difficult it must be very difficult to like manage your diet and everything. Even doctor told you like not to fight, and you you still did it, and you feel
Yeah.
like, you know.
Yeah, that's funny. It is difficult. I'm not gonna lie. It's like it's an extra. If I'm taking care of myself, it's easier to be lazy and to let your numbers slip and let your diet slip. But um, it's hard in the sense that one of the things that's hard is, and I wish people like really understood, is like my muscles really feel like they feel fatigued a lot. And what happens with type 1 diabetics, especially, is like when you have higher blood sugars, your muscles start to um, obtain atrophy. You start to lose, and a lot of this atrophy you don't might not like. It takes a long time of strength and building, and to get to rebuild, and extra protein and extra nutrients and extra macro counts to get just where other people are at, because we're and the thing is that people, well, how often? It's like, okay, every day my body experiences atrophy, because every day I have to raise my blood sugar to about like 200 or so. Every time that's about 100 points. That's double what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be 90 to 120. And I don't feel safe during workouts unless it's at least like double. Like sometimes I'll start at 200, 220, and it'll end right in the range. So, and the reason why you bring it up is to prevent hypoglycemic events like putting into a coma, seizures. Well, actually, the diabetic comas actually come from high blood sugars, but the more sporadic episodes are like seizures. So you get yourself high off those test scores to prevent that. But every second I put in a blood sugar over 120, not only are my veins getting fried, it's atrophy happening to my muscles. They're going to feel sore like they if I am successfully keeping my blood sugar high enough to prevent seizures. I am going to obtain muscle cramps and soreness. And I do that for prolonged period of times, and usually at least 2 to 3 hours at a time during the day.
Mm, okay.
So
That must.
by sometimes by the end of the workout, people are like, "Oh man, you look so tired. Your muscles you look so fatigued." It's like, yeah, because I don't want to be. I'd rather be fatigued like this than be in a seizure. And it's just hard to sometimes explain to people that, hey, my body doesn't work like this, and like what actually is good for your body is hurting mine. And people don't like. I don't think people don't like to hear that. But I think it's an excuse. So I still battle with that, and like I still try to explain to people that how I got to the UFC. So like half the battle is battling that, and then half of that battle is mentally giving myself the okay that I feel like this because this is part of my life, and not feel guilty for it. Not feel guilty for feeling like a normal diabetic.
Yeah. So like, thank you very much for like,
Mhm.
you know, taking all this pain and entertaining us. Just yeah, no words for it.
Oh man, that
That
was
was
deep. Those words right there, man. Like I really felt and I resonated with that. And you, man, all I can say is like, man, you're welcome, and I appreciate your appreciation.
yeah, man. So like, I was gonna ask the next question, but I was just moved by what you were saying. I was just like, just whatever you said, it moved me, right?
Oh
It
man,
made me.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you.
So like, coming back to fight. So will you be staying at the welterweight for a long time, or is this a one-off?
We're gonna take this fight by fight. I would like this to be a multiple thing at 170. I feel like I can do this. I feel like with more help down the road, I feel like it could be easier obtained than currently. And right now, like man, after the stem cell therapy, I swear I've been like dropping weight. I've been waking up at like 180, sometimes 179 in the mornings. So, which is really light, which is only going to be like a, you know, after the workout, sometimes I'm 176. After 2 workouts this week, I was 177, which means that's only a 6 pound extra cut than where I'd have to go. So I feel like I am right there in striking distance and right there with keeping 170 my permanent weight for the rest of my career if I make the right decisions.
Okay, yeah, sure. So yeah, thank you very much for coming in and the story. Thank you very much for like going through all this pain and for entertaining us and giving us such good fights. Man, it's just so almost looking forward to it. All the best for your fight against Mickey Gall, you know. Just
Hey,
yeah.
Stats, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, your genuine thoughts, man. It's definitely felt, and like I will continue to keep putting on these performances not only for myself but for like the true fans like you, man. I really do appreciate your appreciation.
Yeah, thank you very much. So like yeah, we'll do some more the next time. But goodbye for now, man. Thank you very
All
much. All
right,
the best.
yeah, my man. Yeah, we'll definitely do some more down the road. Appreciate your time, man, as well.
Thank
All right, bye.